idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Tiara.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is a preview episode for episode 195, Fatale. This is the Michael Ealy, Hilary Swank thriller. I'll give you the log line for this. After a wild one-night stand, a successful sports agent watches his perfect life slowly disappear when he discovers the sexy and mysterious woman he risked everything for is a determined police detective who entangles him in her latest investigation. As he desperately tries to put the pieces together, he falls deeper in her trap, risking his family, his career, and even his life. Dun, dun, dun.
Risking his what? His family, you said?
Maybe he's just talking about his uncle. I don't know. Michael Ealy wouldn't cheat on his wife and his black family.
I never thought he would throw kids out of a window, but here we are.
Look, we gotta watch that, yo. Like while Terrence is on hiatus, he don't want to watch. They don't want to do that movie. We got to do that movie.
I want to see Michael Ealy throw kids out a window.
I really want to see Michael Ealy drop some kids out of a window. But that's neither here nor there. This movie stars Hilary Swank, Michael Ealy, Mike Coulter, and Jeffrey Owens. And that sounds like the worst interracial gangbang I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Oh shit, Jeffrey Owens is in this? Yeah, damn, that's awesome. Wow.
I really think y'all should just give this movie a chance. You never know.
I am giving it a chance.
Oh, I'm gonna give it a chance.
There's a lot of people in this movie I've never heard of. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so can't wait to see it. This is our first lighter film over the last number of episodes, so it should be fun, certainly. All right, random topic this week is all about this mass shooting of these 8 folks, six of which were Asian women, by a white dude. I think he was 19. He's allegedly the shooter, but it is him. He's admitted to it. And I guess what we want to talk about isn't just that, but, sort of the response to it, which has been this, it's been this weird amalgam of people saying, hey, we need to all come together as minorities, and stand with Asian folks who are going through this shit because it's fucked up. Right, that's one side, which I would argue is a reasonable, logical side. Then there's also the other side of black people, you need to do something about this. And I'm like, why are we even involved? Why are you talking about us? We didn't shoot anybody. Which is also another side of it. And then another side, which is a weird response in my opinion, which is, why do I care? Some Asian people don't like black people, so fuck them, which is weird. What are your overall thoughts, Tiara? You're you love Korean music. Do you have a special view of this story? I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow. Yes, I am BTS Army. So definitely stream BTS, support them, sell your soul to them like I did.
Wow.
And can't marry them because I already did that. But
gross.
I mean, it's infuriating, right? To me, this is. I was talking to a friend earlier who is Korean. She's a great friend of mine. And we were talking this morning and I said, this reminds me a little bit of Charleston in a way, like having a guy who it seems like he was hunting Asian women, going to, I think, three different massage parlors in particular, to take down these women.
And this happened in Atlanta, by the way. I just like to point that out. Okay.
Happened in Atlanta. And also, it came out today that a South Korean newspaper actually reported this, not an American news outlet, that he said he wanted to kill all Asians and was getting ready to head down to Florida to do the same thing. And seeing the treatment that other people of color get, similar to us, is, I don't know if I am desensitized to it, or maybe I'm just like, I'm not surprised, or I'm so angry. But hearing the cop say, well, he just had a bad day. And, that's what he did. That's what that cop said in that press conference earlier today.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And then saying, well, he has a sex addiction. So it's, of course, that's what he did, and that's just like, I am tired of white men in particular, getting the benefit of the doubt because their racist actions are always deadly, 100% of the time. And of course, this is rooted in the way that Asian women are perceived. I saw some stats today on social media that Asian women are at an all-time high of being targeted, specifically because they are Asian women. And part of that is because people fetishize, mostly white men who fetishize Asian women, and think of them as like that meek, inferior type of partner. But it's all rooted in xenophobia and, of course, white supremacy. Now, I did see an article today on Twitter, and it got ratioed, I guess, because NBC posted a tweet that said how Black people can be better allies to the Asian community.
Yeah, Micah. That was like the headline. It was crazy.
Yeah. So the tweet is deleted, but I took a screenshot. But people were not feeling it because they were like, "Well, why are we? Why are you telling us to be better allies? This is again, white people will have to solve this, right?
We're not even involved in this crime."
Yeah, and also like people bringing up like how Black people can be anti-Asian and stuff like that. And I'm just, again, I understand that, but it's the root at the end of the day is always going to be white supremacy here. But also in that article, one of the tips for Black people to be better allies was know that police aren't always the answer. And people were like, we know. Now, the kicker here is the article was not written by a white person. The article was actually written by a Black person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So some people that didn't shield the author from that kind of criticism, but it was more like, if I guess what I'm saying is like, it felt like because we had a huge Black Lives Matter moment last summer, people were like, well, we were there for you, so you have to be there for us. But it's like we are always in the fight, no matter what. It's not us you need to be talking to.
It's curious, and I didn't see anybody mention this, and maybe Michael will be back in a second. I didn't see anybody mention this, but like at least where we are or where I am in Baltimore, this was a factor. So during like the Black Lives Matter protests, which I went to a number of them in the city, there's a lot of Asian kids there. Like there actually was quite a few Asian kids, like to the point where I was like it was a shock seeing that many Asian people there, just because I'm like, okay, like what's going on here? Like I just found that interesting, right? It's like a mix of people, but like there was an oddly large amount of Asian people, right? And what I came to find out was that there was a whole campaign from Asian kids writing to their parents, like letters to their parents going like, we know that you don't understand this, but you have to understand that this is not just about Black people, and it is obviously, but this type of racism that you're seeing also affects us and it affects our people. Like we need to stand with them, right? Because they know that there's a major disconnect between the Black and Asian communities in this country, right? Historically. And so there was like this, like you can look this up. Like there was a whole letter writing campaign of Asian kids to their parents trying to explain Black Lives Matter. So this idea that they don't give a shit about Black Lives Matter is actually false. Like that's not true. That's not all Asian people. And I'm not saying that. I'm no more making them a monolith than I think it is right to say that all Asian people hate Black people. That's stupid, right? Yeah. But just know that was an actual campaign, specifically from the Asian communities. So so that part is interesting. But one of the things I do want to like that
I'm sorry, I have one more point.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's also like for context. I live in the Bay Area where we have a lot of Asian people who live out here. And what we're noticing here locally is that there have been incidences of attacks against Asian people, notably elderly Asian people. There was, I think one guy died. I live in San Jose, and there was a woman who was attacked outside of a Lion Mart, which is a big Asian store here in the Bay Area. So these are targeted attacks that are happening here. Even today, there was a report of an elderly Asian man who was beaten up in the streets in San Francisco. yesterday.
ridiculous.
So it's a trend, but we know why it's happening, right? Of course, anti-Asian racism has always been a thing. Same thing with any marginalized group, but the rise in these attacks have coincided with Donald Trump calling coronavirus. I'm not gonna repeat the terms,
Right.
but basically blaming them for the coronavirus over here. So
Right.
it's, words have consequences, and it really matters who your leadership is, because these are the people who these people inspire. And if it sucks because of course it's predictable, right? You start with the demonization of a certain people, you blame a pandemic on them, and then of course you have people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna start killing some folks, and it doesn't help that both, not just cops, because you know how cops are, but the media who reports things. I think AP tweeted this earlier saying shooter goes to church and is from the Atlanta area. That was a real tweet today. Who gives a fuck if he goes to church?
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
Who cares? Like, he's a murderer. And apparently this dude has just been singing to the cops, telling him why he did it. And I'm just like, oh wow, like they're humanizing him in a way that I am not seeing these victims being humanized. I hardly know anything about these victims yet, but the coverage has been on the shooter the entire time.
Right. Micah, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is pretty gross. I don't obviously, none of us condone murder. And I don't even know where to begin. Let me say to the thing about being better allies. I mean, yes and no, right? Like, we all can help each other out a little more. We all can be a little empathetic to other people and their plights. But at the same time, like, I haven't read the article, but the way you are describing it makes it seem like it is Black people's responsibility to fix all racism.
Yep.
And that is it's not our job.
Right.
But ally is just that. I will stand right beside you, and I will prop you up if needed. But I am not here to. But you gotta. I'll be right there with you. But you gotta bang down the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll fight with you, but this is your door to bang down. This is not our responsibility to do that for you.
Right.
Jesus. Yeah, this was obviously a hate crime. And I don't, I'm a fan of Asian culture. I'd like to think that I'm not like that. I don't fetishize it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't walk around wearing Asian clothes and pretending to be Asian or whatever. Like, a lot of us in this community, this like nerd community, kind of do that.
Right.
To the point where it's just a little much.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
But I'm a fan of it. And I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just it's so gross. And I think they're doing it. One of the reasons they're doing it is, like you said, because of, the rhetoric that not just Trump, but everyone on the extreme right has about literally everything. Their opinions on literally everything are wrong.
Right.
And it's that rhetoric that poisons dumber people. I'll just say it. Like, it poisons dumber people's thoughts into thinking that, oh, well, this is true because this person who is on TV said it, right? And I think another reason that they're doing it to Asian people is because they think that Asian people aren't going to do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, something happens to a Black person, at minimum, there are hashtags all over the internet, at bare minimum, right? And we make noise. Mm-hmm. And they think that Asian people, because of stereotypes, right? Of them being docile and meek and all that they're not going to do anything. Sure they will. Absolutely they will. They should. And I think it's everyone's job, not just Black people,
Right.
not just Asian people. It's everyone's job to amplify what they are saying.
Yep.
Even if it's something small like retweeting something, whatever hashtag, whatever, right? Like I'm not big on hashtag activism, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
This is just it's so gross and so sad because you see it's the same playbook. It's literally the same thing.
Yep.
That they're doing. They just moved to another. Like Asian people are the target of the month, right? Like it's been Black people for a long time. It was Muslim people 20 years ago. It's Hispanic people. They're getting, they're taking our jobs and they're immigrants and all that. Like they're getting a lot of it now. And hopefully it won't be Asian people's turn, but it looks like it is. And look, like I said, it's not our responsibility to spearhead your fight, but I think it's everyone's responsibility to back people up. I really do.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, it is interesting that you're seeing that. Like, the only thing I could that kept like sort of ringing in my head was, boy, I wish that all lives matter wasn't used as a racist way to beat down people. Right. Because it actually is the right fucking statement, right? Is that everybody fucking matters and that we should fight for everybody, right? And you should, but you can't use it. You can't use it because racists, as they always do, ruin everything. They fucking ruin everything. No, look, man, I guess I am vehemently against painting any group. Even white people who get on my nerves a lot about bullshit, I am vehemently against painting any group with a broad brush like that. Like, I don't think it helps anybody. And I don't think it's right that these people are being painted as like, oh, they're bringing in the, virus or whatever. That's stupid, dude. That's dumb. Considering the way I watch white people act when it comes to coronavirus, I'm like, it's spreading because of y'all. It's not spreading because of minorities. It's spreading because of you.
They don't even believe in coronavirus unless you check them on not wearing a mask and then they cough in your face. They just
all the mask meltdown videos.
It ain't Asian people.
It ain't nobody but white people.
Right. I mean, so
it's usually like very well off white people.
How dare you?
They're doing that shit in a Whole Foods or some dumb shit. Right? Nah, yo.
Nobody's gonna tell me how to shop in Trader Joe's. Like, all right, relax.
So I'm looking at Twitter right now, and yet again, there was another attack today on an elderly Asian woman in San Francisco. However, this time she beat her assailant with looks like to be a wooden plank.
Good for you.
Look, you're gonna find a look. I think stereotypes are funny.
Yeah.
I think stereotypes are funny.
Okay. All right.
You keep fucking with these Asian people, you gonna fuck with the wrong one.
Yeah, you will.
You gonna fuck with the one that actually knows the martial art that you think they know.
Yeah. Right. Surprise. Good.
It says she's in her 80s and the police did not disclose a motive for the attack. Guess the race on the assailant.
Hate crime. That's the motive. Hate crime.
But I do think there is something else here that we would be remiss if we didn't talk about, which is the dude said, "Well, I'm not a racist. I just killed all of these Asian women." So, one, I don't take the word of a murderer. Sorry. You don't get to be the end all be all of your motives. The other thing is, they're like, well, maybe he's just a misogynist. Hey, spoiler alert. You can be both.
Yeah,
it's all related,
either, yo. That ain't good.
Like, you can't just be like, well, he just likes to kill women. Nigga, what? Come on. That's insane. He's both. He's both.
Look exactly like
What did I tell you?
Yeah,
He looks
right?
exactly like that. You knew what he looked like before you clicked on that ad or that page. You already knew.
Neck beard, got the little fake Nazi like hairstyle. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
So I saw a tweet today, and this is probably going to be related to, I think, the stuff that we may talk about later. But someone was like, white people are so scared of being called racist.
I saw this. Yeah.
That they would rather be like, yeah, I murder people, but I'm not racist. Like, oh my God, like, am I some sort of monster? I only took 8 lives, but I am no way a racist. You better take that back. And it's like,
yeah, because racist is the N word for white people. Like, it's the thing. You call a white person a racist online, they flip out. I love it. I throw that. I play that card from the bottom of the deck. Like, yeah, no, you do. They flip out. They hate it. Good.
yeah.
That's if you call a white person a racist, you might as well be yelling nigger at a black person driving in traffic. Like, black people chase you down for that shit. It's the same thing. They flip out. So yeah, he would rather admit to being a straight up murderer,
Right.
or a misogynistic murderer than to admit that their race had anything to do with it. You don't go into 3 Asian massage parlors, kill 6 Asian women, and Asian has nothing to do with it. Dude, are we all insane? Like, come on, yo, like, knock it off.
You know what, and what angers me about, like, seeing that a South Korean newspaper was just straight up about the motive for the attack is and versus American news media, is that I always feel like American news media is gaslighting us. About every time a white person, or especially a white man, does something that's just blatantly racist, and maybe this is just a culmination of the last 4 years just being a whole gaslighting experience. But I do feel like sometimes I'm losing my mind when I see things like, yeah, he killed 8 people, 6 of them have to be Asian, 6 of them are also women, which is someone else brought this up on Twitter, which is like, why is not targeting women a hate crime? Because you're targeting specific group of people for a reason.
Right.
And then seeing the media say, well, guys, he was just having a bad day. He goes to church. He has a family. He has a dog.
He was a very hardworking Republican. That's one of the quotes that I'm reading now that someone said about him in his article. He was a very hardworking Republican and a very strong Trump supporter. No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw someone was like, I bet he's a Biden supporter. Why would that make sense? But okay, like, probably a Trump supporter. But yeah, I find it, I tweeted out, like, it's like muscle memory for them. Right? Like, this idea of watching whiteness work in real time. Like, this dude killed 8 people, 6 of which fit a very specific profile of being Asian women. And it's like, you still can't just go, yeah, this guy, pretty sure that guy's a piece of shit racist. Like, they just can't do it. They cannot bring themselves to it. Meanwhile, at the same time, right? Like, let's put in the context of the world. At the same time, a couple of days ago, you had a United States congressperson, Ron Johnson, who is a Republican and a real fucking piece of shit. He went on television and said, hey, I wasn't scared during the Capitol riots because I knew those people loved America, man. It's like, they were just mad. Now, had they been Black Lives Matter people or Antifa, then I would have really been scared. Like, you're just saying the quiet part loud.
Quiet part loud, man.
Yo, you're just saying, like, I'm a white dude, they white, I'm conservative, they're conservative, like, because they were conservative.
He literally just said, if they had been black,
I would have been scared. Meanwhile, they're killing cops and shit, but you weren't scared. But if they were black people, I'd have been scared. That's the whole thing, right? Like, and like, people in his party are like, just not gonna say anything. But like, people in his state were like, fuck that guy. But like, national Republicans were like, nothing. But it's just a muscle memory for them. It's muscle memory for them.
I have when you said that, Jay, like, my first response was to say something, but I realized that this show does not have a first hour and a second hour.
Please subscribe to our political show. Look forward.
So I'll just
That
say
second
that,
hour is a saving grace for me. Sometimes I don't make it, but I try.
But yeah, that's a guy, a real POS. And I'll just keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe he will. So, I mean, that's the idea, right? Like, there is nothing seemingly wrong with watching white people do and say horrendous shit. Like, to the media, they're like, well, that's just the way it is. Like, he messed up, but, white people be white peopling. Like, that's right. He's just a kid. Right. This 21-year-old, by the way, I said he was 19. He's 21. He's just a kid. He murdered 8 people, but he's just a kid.
But and it's like I'm fucking furious because like last week it was a dude who called a bunch of black high schoolers fucking niggers because they were kneeling during the anthem. They said, "Guys, I have diabetes. My blood sugar was spiking high. And I just say anything when my blood sugar spikes high. My blood sugar is high right now. I am not yelling."
Said the N-word.
I can say that. But like, it's just like they get to use any excuse.
Yes.
Any excuse. And I'm just like, part of me is wondering what's the excuse next week going to be? I was walking my dog and my dog started barking at a black person, so I had to shoot them. Like, what is going?
I mean, here's one. This is a random one. Let's say, I don't know, a rock and roll legend's wife. Let's go with Sharon Osbourne. She would just say, like, I was set up. Oh, that's
what she said now?
That's what she said. She was set up.
Okay.
For calling her Asian co-host or Asian friend or whatever, another Asian celebrity, calling her, quote, slanty eyes. She was set up, guys. It's all bullshit. They're all setting up Sharon Osbourne to go down. Who the fuck cares about Sharon Osbourne?
So
not even Ozzy Osbourne. He don't even know where he's at. Like, come on. It's insane.
So for context for everyone who doesn't know about the Sharon Osbourne thing, just a quick rundown. Sharon Osbourne is on the show called The Talk, and it's
like the Great Value, The View, right? Like, is that my understanding?
Like all them shows. And then her co-star Cheryl Underwood, is that her name?
Yeah, Cheryl Underwood. Yep.
A black woman asked Sharon Osbourne an easy layup question, and this is about Piers Morgan from Good Morning Britain bullying Meghan Markle because apparently he thought he went on a date with her.
Yeah.
And she never talked to him again. And so ever since then, and he was married at the time. So ever since after that experience, he's just been ragging on her for the last couple of years. Got checked by what seems to be a person of color who's his co-host. And then he walked off the set that day because he got just a little bit of the medicine he's been dishing out to Meghan Markle for the last couple of years.
Yeah, because he's a fucking coward. So
Cheryl Underwood asked Sharon Osbourne, she was like, "Hey, I know that's your friend, and I've never seen you say or do anything racist. What's your thought? What are your thoughts on this?" And Sharon Osbourne lost her goddamn mind. She said, she was like, "Well, I feel like I'm being called racist, and I don't want to be tied up to the electric chair because I have a friend who might have said some things, and I'm just
like, ain't nobody say all that."
Like, nobody said, like,
calm down, yo.
White women love to weaponize their tears against black people. It drives me crazy.
But here's
that shit don't work on me.
Because Cheryl Underwood tried to help her and said, "Hey, well, I'm not calling you a racist. I'm just saying, like, do you have anything to say about your friend's behavior?" And Sharon Underwood was getting kind of emotional from the exchange. And Sharon Osbourne said, "You stop crying. Don't cry. No, if anyone who should be crying, it's me." And
I'm the victim here.
But it's the way that she said, "Black woman, you do not get to be emotional in this moment. I am the victim, and you're not allowed to have problems if I have problems." And then she said afterward, like, I lost my mind because people were coming at me on social media for defending Piers Morgan. And, I hated being called racist. The thought of being called racist horrifies me. Turns out she did a bunch of ass racist shit to anyone, to everyone who she worked with. But it's just in that moment, I guess to take Micah's phrase here, white women are a fucking problem, was just the epitome of that exchange. And then when she gave her apology on, I think, the Notes app or something, did she apologize to her black coworker?
Of course not.
No, she didn't.
On the Notes app.
She said, well, I'm a strong ally of the black community. I love the black community. I care about the black community. Black community. Not one word, not one apology to her black co-host who was supposed to.
She don't give a fuck about Cheryl Underwood. No, she don't give a fuck about her.
And
she give a fuck about, you know who she apologizing for? She apologizing for her job.
For her job.
That's what she apologizing for. Don't fuck up my money. That's what she apologizing for.
And now, and because only thing she had to say was, Pierce Morgan is my friend. However, I watched Meghan Markle's interview, and I empathize with her. I don't agree with Pierce Morgan's actions. I don't have to agree with everything my friends do. Move on to the next segment.
It really is not that hard, yo. Even if you don't believe it. Even if you don't believe it.
And here's the thing.
She could have just said 5 words and that would have squashed it. I'm not my brother's keeper. That's it. That's it.
Nope. But she was so terrified. She was so terrified of being seen as a racist that she did that. That she ended up doing some racist shit. And it turns out she's been doing that for a while now.
Well, right. I was going to say, like, she's always been a racist. And, like, there is, like, this style of racism that white people do, not obviously not all white people, but like that some white people do when they have minority friends or minority coworkers or minorities around them who they think are their friends, right? Because like black people, Asian folks, we've had to learn how to deal with white people in a way in the business environment where it's like, yeah, we got to be friendly to you. And be like, oh yeah, we're really close friends. And you like see that person outside of work, you're like, you don't know nothing about that person. Like you guys are not close at all. And I mean, her calling that like playful bullshit racism, like, oh, slanty eyes and shit like that. Like that shit's not fucking cool. The only time that shit ever works is minority to other minorities. Like when they are close. Right. And if you are actual friends. But like white people tend to think that shit is sweet. And it's like, nah, and look, I know what, some white people listening might think like, well, that's not really fair that they don't get to be able to be that close and stuff like that. Yeah. Life ain't fair. It ain't fair that my credit score is automatically lower than yours. A lot of things aren't fair. So like, they're just certain things, certain connections you have with people in business environments are not the same. Look, I don't know if they're listening. I don't really give a shit. I work with white people and I've worked with them for like 15 years. I don't fuck with them. I don't. The black people I work with, I'm way closer with. And I've known them less time. I will say shit to them that I would never say to the white people I've known for long. I just won't.
I agree.
Like, and that's not even me. Like, I'm not saying like, I hate them or dislike them. I just don't fuck with you like that. I just don't. So it's just one of those things. Sharon Osbourne's like behavior and like her response to Cheryl Underwood is just fucked up, and it's like boilerplate bullshit. It's
peak white women like in particular feminism, like because it's just I can't get the sound of Sharon's voice on her head just basically shutting her black coworker / friend up, saying saying that she wasn't allowed to express those emotions. And there's another podcast, Rod's podcast, where he even said like that should remind him of slavery. And I'm like, yes, that's what it reminds me of. Like just white women reminding you that they are always prioritized above you, no matter what. And it's just
look. They got mad as fuck at Bill Burr for saying what he said. And you know why? Because that shit hit a nerve. Because he was right. He was like, look, y'all been sitting next to us, or, sitting at the right hand of the throne, benefiting on all the crappy shit that white men have done to society. And then you turn around and go, how dare you, white men? Like, the nerve. How dare you? You sat and did the same shit.
We got to stick together, y'all. We got to stick together as women.
And
okay.
Together. What happened to all that shit? What happened to all that? See, all that shit goes right out the window the second you're pressed. And
Right. That shows, by the way, that is the mark of a true ally, because a true ally, when Cheryl Underwood brought that shit up, she would have been like, you know what? You're right. What he did was fucked up. Because you're right, Micah. She could have stood with Cheryl Underwood and Meghan Markle as women, but she can't.
Because
she can't.
That's what they always do
Right.
when it is a white woman being shat upon. And look, white women don't deserve to be treated ill. Nobody deserves to be treated badly.
Right.
But come on, yo, you can't ask for help and then at the same time befriend the person that's belittling somebody, another fucking woman, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense.
So a woman who has been open about issues like postpartum depression, feeling like she gave up her whole independent life. And that's another thing. As women, we love our independence, especially separate from our significant others and spouses. But no, she said she said she doesn't agree with bullying and racism, but yet she sided with her friend who is a bully and a racist.
Yeah, because she don't see him like that. White people's understanding of what racism is like my understanding of astrophysics. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, they don't.
But you know what I mean. Like,
They
but
don't.
it is 2021. How much longer are white people going to play ignorance?
No, but
racism?
so, okay, you're right. But I do, like, yes, like, there is obvious racism that, like, we all get and we should all get, right? But, like, I think in the minds of a lot of white people, if you're not spraying a minority down with a hose and yelling nigger at them, anything below that is like, What, you ever go read the comments on those Meghan Markle articles? Yo, no. British white people are wiling. The shit they say out of their mouths are crazy. I'm like, yo, as a black American, I don't even think our racists are this bad. Like, it's crazy. They kind of invented right? Like, it's a different level over there. I'm like, yo, this is coming with a little too much like poppycock and like fancy words. Like, it's like our racists, you generally like, oh, this person's a fucking idiot. These people are like, let me write this dissertation why black skin is inferior. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's crazy.
I feel like, to me, they're all the same, but it's like, but also, I guess you kind of with the even with the royal family, when Meghan Markle told them, hey, I understand that there's going to be, some of the press that's always going to come at me or whatever, but they're saying racist shit, and they're not just saying it to me, they're saying it to my husband, and they're saying it about my son. And the royal family's response was like, well, everyone goes through that. She's like, no, only I go through this, and you need to help me. And they were just like, oh, what are you gonna do?
They don't give a fuck either, because they're racist. And like, how dark is your son's skin gonna get?
And I was actually
like, look at you ugly ass niggas in this family. What the fuck? Are you serious?
Right. You motherfuckers are the product of incest. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. They look like a cross between a rat, a rabbit, and whatever other DNA they found hanging around. You need a little extra something in the gene pool, because it's a little shallow over there. Knock it off.
But do you know how racist you have to be to ask that question?
Yo, that's a wildly racist question.
She is, Meghan Markle. I think there's some people were bringing up an article how she said like a few years ago she doesn't identify as black, but she identifies as biracial, which, okay, whatever.
There's nothing wrong with that. She is biracial. There's nothing wrong with that. Because I need people to let that go. She is biracial. You don't have, they're not required to pick a race. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Well, here's the thing. And this shows you how powerful the one drop rule is, because to ask a biracial woman and who's very light skinned, not looking like Barack Obama or Halle Berry, right, but if you look at her, you may be like, you something.
Right. There's something in you.
and her white ass pasty husband. How dark is your son going to be? Like, he's not going to come out looking like Wesley Snipes.
I wish he did.
Her son will not come out looking like he should be part of the cast of Coming to America.
Yeah. I wish he looked just like Wesley Snipes when he was born.
In fact, Her
Jet
son will
black.
probably end up growing up to look like Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy or Halsey or whatever. Someone who has blackness in them, but it's like maybe the one drop rule is something we should probably
Right. He tans well in the summer.
But like,
that's
that is such a deep seated racism.
Oh.
To ask that question, I'm just like, wow.
That's what I'm saying, yo. Like the level of racism in those comments from British folks, I was like, yo, this is some new level shit. I'm impressed. Like I was baffled by the shit that they were saying. Well, she's never identified as a Negro. I'm like, God, take it easy. But I just look, watching whiteness work, I think is the through line, right? Which like from Sharon Osbourne's like, I can't be racist to this slanty-eyed Asian woman, right? Like that type of shit. Shut up, black woman. I don't want to hear from you. But I'm the victim, right? While you're saying those things. This white dude killing these 6 Asian women, but hey, it's okay because maybe I didn't kill them because they were Asian. I just killed them because they were women. Sure, you believe that? Cool. That's what I'm saying.
He said he had a sex addiction and he saw those massage parlors as a temptation that needed to be eliminated.
Then stop going to them. Or look, or you got a sex addiction and you can't control yourself, just cut your dick off. Knock it off. Boom. There you go. There you go. Look, save everybody the time. Nobody wants to sleep with your ugly ass anyway. Just knock it off. Go get your balls removed.
And
the doctor will do it.
And even if you were just targeting women, it should still be considered a hate crime. And
100%.
And I know this isn't look forward, but the House renewed the Violence Against Women Act.
They did
Today.
Yeah. Good luck getting it through the Senate.
With 172 Republicans voting against it.
Of course.
Huh.
Of course. Incels are their fucking demographic.
Yep.
I don't understand. Both sides the same, man. Both sides the same, right? That's the bullshit rhetoric people say online. Both sides the same. Right?
Yeah.
One side is totally cool with women getting their heads cracked open by a man. No big deal. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Right?
But yeah, you tell them to put on a mask and it's like
they lose their fucking mind.
You tell them no.
I can't breathe.
Good. Maybe we'll lessen the numbers of you. Put on 3 masks then.
You can breathe.
Right, that's what they say.
Ain't that the bullshit that they say?
Right. I can't breathe. You're talking right now. Look, man, I don't think you should ignore white people's ability to move the needle on shit like murder and how we can somehow lessen it being a big deal for them. I don't think that should be ignored. At the same time, I think people need to join up, black, white, Asian, whatever, and call this shit out. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit, particular hashtags that I'm not a fan of, but I think people who are trying to make this now, trying to use it as like a black people versus Asian people thing, you can go fuck yourselves. No, we're not doing that, yo. Like we gotta be off that. This is 2021. You gotta stand together. Like you either stand together or you fall apart. Like that's just the way it is.
It's classic divide and conquer.
That's all it is.
Look. Evil white people are a minority in this country. If you add up all the right thinking people in the world, no matter what their color, evil white people are a minority.
Right.
And coming together, us coming together is what they are afraid of.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so they employ these classic divide and conquer strategies. And it doesn't help that some of us are fucking ignorant too, right? Like, oh, you had a bad experience at a corner store or a bodega if you're from New York. And now you hate Asian people and or Asian people hate you or whatever.
Right.
You gotta let some of that shit go.
Those folks, and I'm gonna say probably some of them probably ate those folks who probably saying some stuff like that. Those people I don't think they really believe in anything. I think those are the people who just want to complain and
they're nihilists.
Fine. Yeah, they just want to find an issue with everything. They're not. They were never part of the kind of coalition that we're trying to be part of. Anyway.
No, they're not. But I see that type of rhetoric. I didn't want to mention their names, but yeah, ADOS or foundational black people, Americans, whatever the fuck bullshit. I don't know. Like all of those guys are so deeply seated in division that it's like, well, you didn't fight for us. Like that's one, likely not actually true. Two, it's silly. You have to be smarter than that. You don't progress in the world by yourself. You don't. You need allies. You need, like, nobody goes to war alone. You need people next to you. You do. And sometimes you don't have to agree 100% with the person next to you to fight. You don't. But guess what? Black people alone ain't going to fix this shit. Asian people alone ain't going to fix this shit. Muslims alone ain't going to fix this shit. Latin folks alone ain't going to fix this shit. Unless everybody joins up and goes, enough is enough. And including like good-natured white people. Like, you got to put everybody in. You cannot fix this. Like I said, the vast majority of people in this country are right-thinking people. They just are, right? Evil people are a minority. Right. So why the fuck you joining the side next to them and then going, well, they're evil. You're on the same side they on. Like, come on. Don't sound like shitty white people. Get your shit together. Like that's my attitude. Get your shit together. We can help Asian people. Look, if it ain't nothing but a retweet or go to a protest against Asian hate or whatever, you do that shit. Like one of the things I saw this morning that I retweeted that I thought was dope. Eddie Wong, who is a Taiwanese American, like he's the guy behind Fresh Off the Boat and the new movie Boogie. He's like a chef or whatever. He's a super cool dude, like really into the hip hop scene, always has been growing up. Very much accepted in black circles, right? Like people fuck with Eddie Wong. He's a cool ass dude. That dude wrote something out and was like, look, man, we got to stand up against this shit. It's fucked up. You know, these are my people. Like, this is wrong. And everybody needs to come together. And you know, the reason why I saw it, because I don't follow Eddie Wong. The person I saw, Mero fucking tweeted it from Desus and Mero. He retweeted it. Mero's Dominican, right? Like.
Afro-Dominican, yeah.
Right. So, like, come on. Like, we all need to fucking get on board. If you wanted people to get on board with Black Lives Matter and call this shit out when black people are being shot by cops, you got to be willing to do the same fucking thing when wrong shit is being done to them. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. You don't get anywhere by yourself. You don't. You ain't Superman. Get the fuck out of here. You're not.
Well, you know what? I'm really glad that the people who listen to the show are smart people and understand this. And I also feel like if what you're saying is new to people, is there any hope for you if you need this as a reminder? And I'm going to say no, because I feel like at this point everyone should know this by now.
Yeah, they should. People should know a lot of things, but every week we find out they don't.
Yeah, and also there are ways to support the AAPI community on social media, amplify their voices, resources, you know. Yeah,
that's all you have to do. Amplify their voices. Tell people, you know, when you see something wrong, call it out. Don't back down. Don't. Oh, I'm not gonna say anything because they don't look like me. Fuck that.
Even with your family, yo, you got to do that shit with your family too.
Yep.
Like, you can't just yell and scream at somebody on the internet, right? Like, you gotta do that shit you gotta reach people on a personal connection. Yelling and screaming at people on the internet ain't gonna do nothing. You gotta have a human connection with people, and that's gonna be the hardest part. That's what we tell white people to do all the time.
Right.
Like at Thanksgiving, you gotta have them hard conversations. And guess what? If you got an ignorant cousin from East Baltimore who don't like Asian people for some reason, you got to tell them like, yo, you got to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Sounds like Micah got a hard Thanksgiving coming up.
Nah, I just had to have a conversation with one of them, yo. Like, the fuck out of here, yo. Like, that's bullshit, man. Like, that's bullshit.
Like, you sound like the white races that you think are pieces of shit.
That's exactly what I said. And he got on mad. Well, bite yourself and get glad, nigga. I don't
Right? Like, that's what you sound like. I never understood that. Man, these white people are wild. Like, let me repeat the same thing they said about a different group. Who do you think you sound like? Like, if nothing else, and this might sound a little weird, if nothing else, have a particular attitude so you can stand above people and say that you're better than them. If nothing else, that's how I operate.
Yeah, I'm myself. That is definitely a personal experience from Jay.
Yes. Stand above others.
And also, like, it is not lost upon me that these attacks that are happening against Asian people are happening to elderly Asian people. Which
some cowardly shit.
And that's just another layer of anger. I'm just like, why? I mean, we know why, but it's just, like you said, it's cowardly to go after someone that you perceive as being weak, someone who can't fight against themselves. Well, that dude today, he learned because he got busted up.
Good. I saw those images. Good. That grandma wore his ass out. He was in a gurney. Good. Fuck him up.
But I hope they continue to run into the wrong one, or they could just stop, but they won't.
No.
But attacking elderly people in any case is just cowardly. But you know what you're doing when you're attacking an elderly Asian person. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that ain't right. And you wouldn't be cool with that if that was your grandma or your grandfather. You wouldn't be cool with it. You'd be ready to raise hell.
No.
I don't know why people don't do that. Like, they don't stop and think, well, what if that happened to me? Well, what if that happened to somebody I cared about? Like, do you think they think about that, or do you think they just think about it?
No.
And don't care?
No, I don't think they think about it. This is basic human empathy, dude. Like, it's basic.
I think they either don't think about it, they think about it, or they don't care, or they don't think, or they think about it and don't think it's going to happen to them.
Yeah. Nah, I can tell you right now, somebody did that shit to, like, my grandmother's not alive anymore, but, like, to my grandparents or my in-laws or, no, fuck that. No, we gotta fight. Like that's crazy to me. Like, no, I just don't understand that mentality, but it's a coward's mentality, right? No, run up on some 20-year-old Asian dude, see what's popping then. Like, no, they're not gonna do that.
I saw another story today of someone who said that they were like a few years ago, they were walking in a crowd and it felt like someone hit him with the steel pipe. And he said like 4 dudes just jumped him. And he feels like it was because he was an Asian. It's just,
that's crazy. That's crazy. But I don't know, man. Leave people the fuck alone. That's basically my attitude. Just leave people the fuck alone. And support others, man. Like, when you see people going through shit, support them, man. Like, just support them. Because, like, the United States is nothing but tag you're it. That's it. To minorities. Black people, right. Asian folks, Latin folks, Muslim folks, whatever. And it'll be somebody else next time. Like, because white people don't know how to just deal with their own shit. They can't. They gotta let it go on somebody. They have to.
They want to be it so bad. They want to be it. They want to be it. Somebody chase me, please. Yeah. I want to play this weird fucking game.
Yeah, they want to play. Yeah, it's duck, duck, goose.
They want to be oppressed so bad. Someone said this. I think several people said this online, but it's like they said white people don't have a natural predator, and that's what they need.
They don't. They don't.
It's like
it's spices, but that's it.
Oh, it's like they want to be oppressed so bad.
They do.
Which is why when they see, and this was on Twitter earlier. Some guy was ranting about Black, Hispanic, and Asian farmers getting a lot of that stimulus money. The act that passed the other day.
The COVID relief plan.
Yeah. Like, so they're going to be getting a lot of money for their farms. And this guy was like, well, what about us? What about all farmers? And then he started like basically imitating of how Black people sound. And instead of a traditional farmer's outfit, he put Black people in a chain and a hoodie, stuff like that. But white people, they want to be oppressed. They can't stand not being oppressed, and they really really hate it when you put a mirror up to themselves to show them their own bullshit.
They can't deal with it. They can't. That's why racist is a really great word, because it's a mirror.
Yeah.
You're a racist, and they're like, oh, the R word. Like they can't do it.
I'm just a murderer.
Yeah, I just killed 8 people. I'm not a racist. That's like that's a wild bit of understanding of that. Like that dude was like, no, I'm not a racist.
Whoa, guys, I'm an EEOM, equal opportunity murderer. Okay,
Right?
please.
Like, come on, like knock it off. Come on.
I will go to the homicide HR just to show you guys how non-racist I am when it comes to choosing which lives I'm going to take.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, look, support people who are in pain. And I mean, this sounds like a super Christian message, but you know, support people who are going through something, and call out people who are doing it, like who are inflicting this pain. You call them out. I don't care what color they are. I don't. I just don't. I don't know. I'm so over this idea of any tragedy or something. We have to figure out a way to see division. You don't. You actually don't. You can just stand with people. Like, that's it. Just stand with them.
So I'm also one more thing. Like, if you see any AAPI journalists on social media, please share their work. Because the typical mainstream media, they are doing the same thing that they've been doing forever now, which is humanizing the murderer and not much of the witnesses. But supporting Asian journalists could really help spread their work and actually spread information about what's happening to their communities, not just of what happened in Atlanta, but what's been happening all over the country. There's been a journalist who has been tagging like Chris Hayes, Joyanne Reed, and Rachel Maddow for weeks now, to get them to highlight some of the stuff that's been happening around the country.
Right. Well, can't ignore it now. So, all right. That's it for us. We'll be back with Fatale next week for episode 195. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you.
Peace.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.